Hey everybody, Modern Creation here, back with another episode of RSL Legend Poker Series. Hope everybody's doing well today. Without further ado, let's get things started. As you know, the fusion has been going on, and there was two summon rushes this time. I didn't summon during the first summon rush, but I did summon during the second one, which I'll be showing you shortly. I also already did my summons for the current champion chase, and I'd say it wasn't actually too bad. I also like YOLO'd a couple primals. I didn't need to do that, but I just did it for like what the heck factor. If I'll do any more, I'm not too sure yet, but we'll see at the end of the video. But without further ado, let's jump right into the summons. Alrighty, starting off with the second chart summons. If you didn't already know, during the first or second summon rush, you only needed 5 fragments total in order to complete this fusion. Guarantee that if you decide to do that, you need to get all the fragments from the rest of the events and tournaments, not including, bonus ones that you can get from placing number one in a tournament group. So I only did 5 sacreds, or only summoned using 5 sacreds. I didn't get anything out of it, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And last one here, just a couple epics. Honestly, not bad in terms of epic quality. A lot of good ones here. We got Morai, Duck. I think the other 3, not so much. Masamoto, I think, is open for a Curse City stage, but that's really all it is to him. Let's go on to the next. Right, here's the Ancient Summons. I think the only thing that wasn't included in this video recording right here was me using my Prism Summon, and also I did not include the 3 Primal Summons. Prism Summon, I didn't get a legendary from, I got an epic, as well as that's how my 3 Primal Shard summons that I shouldn't even pull. I kind of just yelled at them because I was like, why not? I haven't summoned the mythical yet from Primals. I don't believe I'm here in Mercy at all, in Mercy for that matter of fact. So it's probably a waste to do so, but I just wanted to try my luck, so I did it anyways. But that was after I recorded this video. In this video, I'm just going through my summons. I used a little bit of what I had saved. I used Skeletor, which I was holding for a while, just so I didn't have to keep worrying about whether or not to, click or not too fast when I'm loading up the game. So now I don't have to worry about that at least. So I've collected them now. Stopped after getting the legendary book. Just to summons. I think this is a summon or the tin pop right here where I just click it, go fast, and I get Barcos, the progressive chain. Which is pretty cool because for faction wars, for Dark Elves, I was just struggling having to deal with using Bully as my main nuker there. He does, really decent damage, of course. Once Lydia puts up her defense on weekend, that's really nice. If he has attack buff, it's even better for Mithrala. But it's just that he's an attack champion. He's very squishy. You can give him attacks, decent attacks like Lethal or Savage, and then with Stone Skin, but that only lasts one turn. After that, he's free range, and it's really hard to keep him alive most of the time. So I would very much like to replace him with Barcos. I've already 6-starred Barcos actually, but I'm waiting obviously to build him because I still need to book him, and I'm not too sure when I'm going to do that. But that's where this part ends here, and we're going to be jumping back into the game in a moment. Here we are, back in the game. We go over to our champion collection and scroll down for a bit. Here we are, Barcos right here, already 6-starred. Haven't leveled him up, haven't ascended him. Still need to do that. I'll wait for our champ training. Same in terms of booking him. I might actually hold off on booking because of the coalition event that we were getting half a month to a month. I'm not too exactly sure of the timing in on all that, but whenever that happens, they might have something included in there that requires us to book the fusion champion during that time. So I'd want to make sure I have enough books for that. Then I'll consider what I want to do after that. But for now, 6-starred. I'm gonna level them up for the champ training event. We have plenty of time. I've already gotten the fragments from it, so it's just these last couple milestones. I'm pretty sure by the time this ends, I'm gonna already have this completed, but That'll yet to be seen. Still working on the Ice Gold tournament as well, I believe. I did finish that event dungeon tournament just to get the Immortal Soulstone. I pulled my Soulstones in that recent 2x event as well, and I did not get anything. I pulled like all of my Immortals, and I kept my Eternals for sure. But that was I used so many Immortals, and I barely got enough to get that prison for this pool. It was unfortunate. I was like hoping that I would have lucked out and got one of the headline champions. Either of them would have been pretty cool. I don't think I really need the champion right here, but I thought it would be cool if I could, work towards collecting them all. But there'll be plenty more opportunities, hopefully, and maybe we'll strike it. As in terms of stuff to finish here, just got a little bit more. I happen to knock out some of the dailies as it's already pretty late in the day. Speaking of which, let me make sure I continue doing that, because I believe this is my monthly reset today. That'll be another Sacred and Void Shard to collect in Ancient. He didn't use A2. Sometimes the AI decision making is a bit weird, but then you have situations where you might not necessarily want to force it in a team preset, so you gotta put it in the best way possible, really. Which, actually, this team doesn't have a preset, so I'm pretty surprised that he's swapping his form here. You just make sure our menu list here. At least I don't believe this is a team preset I have saved currently. Right? Yeah, he's just swapping forms automatically. Because like in a lot of PvE areas, Embrius will not swap forms. He'll stay in his first form. Even if he used up both of his skills, he'll still stay in his first form and he will just never swap. But there is cases where he will, but it's usually, it doesn't matter. I think that was all we needed to do for that one. Go ahead and do the campaign battles as well real quick. Another thing that I don't believe I mentioned in the video, you might have saw, I pulled a Gina. This wasn't during the progressive chance where he was available. I actually pulled him before that event happened. From I yolled a couple random agents, and I just so happened to get him. That was pretty cool. It is a bit late for me to get the second Gina from the count. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to use him. Like my Sand Devil team is already pretty quick. My Fire Knight Art team is already pretty set in stone. I could possibly make it faster if I build them, but I feel like it would just be a waste of votes, really, to build the second G-Nut at this point. Maybe if it was before I had all of those situated, it would be good, but at this point, it's not. I do have another soul for a G-Nut. I have a 2-star one that if I ever wanted to consider it, maybe it could be something I do, but for now, he's just collecting dust. In terms of Curse City progress, I completed most of Curse City hard mode this rotation, except for like 2 stages. There's one stage I'm really struggling on. I believe it's SS17 that has. It's a stage that has both the hard mode Fire Knight and also the Spider from Doom Tower. Not the Frost Spider. Well, no, actually, it is the Frost Spider from Doom Tower, which makes things a bit tricky because I have to have an HP burner in that team, and I do not have Kreela or any other ally attacker for that stage to help bring down the Fire Knight's shield. So the only option I have there, potentially maybe getting it, is relying on an increased defense champion with the Reflect, not Mastery, but Reflect Awakening, and maybe giving him a Reflex or Impulse set or Merciless set so he can keep getting a cooldown on that and keep that up, and then we'll be able to lower the boss enough to keep hitting and getting damage in, because I don't think we can fit in heal reduction. I don't even think we have heal reduction for that as an option there, unfortunately. So this just might be one of the rotations where we're unable to fully complete Curse City. So I'm definitely probably going to be looking at getting Kreela from my fusion tokens. I don't know when. Definitely not during the next fusion, because the next fusion will be a classic fusion. So that's going to be out of the question. I'm going to be, going for the regular champ rather than swapping it out. Let's see. Next year, let's go over and jump into Tag Team Arena. I've been slacking on Tag Team Arena. As you can see, it may not have been in the video, but I was in Gold 2, and now I'm all the way back in Silver 4 because I was not doing my battles at the end of the week, and I was dipping too low, and I just keep falling under. Go ahead and take these bites here. Here, I think. Speed team at the top, and the secondary team here. Losing all of them, I believe. Except the last one, won the Turtle team. Maybe you could try swapping around. I believe if I manual it, maybe it'd be a bit better. It also kind of depends on their gear sets. I have been seeing Harvest Jack like every so now and then, ever since they did that buff for him. It's pretty cool. It's good, but like when a change to a champion actually gives them some usage. It doesn't have to be, game breaking OP. Now he's the best champion to use buff whenever, they decide to change something about a champion. As long as that can give people a few more options to throw out there, I think that's, good enough for a buff. So I do feel like some people get into that mindset. This is not as good as this, therefore this buff is just now meaningless. It doesn't always have to be the best. But it shouldn't be a meaningless buff either. It shouldn't, it should have some meaningful impact to the character that gives them value wherever they think that he should have value. It's not every champion should need to be usable in both PvE and PvE. Although that is desirable, that being the case. So ultimately, you save a lot of resources not having to have different gear sets or different builds or separate builds for PvP and PvE, or having to build multiple different teams or different champions for different things. You obviously want to conserve your resources as much as possible in this game because they keep throwing out events and tournaments out at you. And sometimes you don't get the information on how these milestones might be in these events. Maybe there's something extra included in events, or maybe there's something else that's a part of it that changes if you might go for the event or not. And sometimes they may give you this information, and a lot of times they don't give you this information at all. Let's see what we got here. We have a team with Blizzy. That's the name we're going with. Can't put her skills on cooldown. She just blocks it. So it's a bit troublesome there. I'm going here secondary team and fast team up here. Putting the turtle team against this team is kind of it's not the best idea. Is this the Mercurial one? It's not the Mercurial one. It's best if I have the Mercurial one in lead here, because with Arman's if he uses A2 first, it would do nothing against the Mercurial one, and I wouldn't lose any of my buffs on the other guys. But we still have to worry about her buff removal and as well. So I'll probably go with my lockout team at the bottom, or turtle team at the top. Let's see where we go from there. On the first one. Second one. How's the third one looking? Full sweep. Not too bad. Okay, we're not going to go for that team. Down is here. We only need a couple of battles here. For the heck of it. Try this one. Noel, Sir Nicholas is just like my bane of existence. I always lose against a team like this. At least in quick battle. If I probably manual, I could, but sometimes these fights take way too long, so I don't really bother to manual these battles ever since they added this feature. Really great feature. Sucks that it's limited to being in Silver 2. It doesn't say it because I have it unlocked, but you need to be in Silver 2 in order to access this feature. Which really, it shouldn't be that. So, I think I'm gonna go here. You have to try to see which one of these we can get a win from, and I think I want to try and win against this team up here. Didn't win, unfortunately. We're still pretty up in points, so for the heck of it, we can try to swap these around, but they have I can't think of her name, but I don't think we'll be able to lock out that team, or we probably get outside. Well, actually, our second team won against that other team. Well, full sweep. Wow. I should have more faith in this team. This team has, been letting me down as of recent, so them getting that win is a bit of a surprise. They also got this win down here. Must have been able to get a turn in with Carnage, and he locked them out of their skills, which probably won this one down here. As you can see, the only one who really got to do any damage here is Marius. And up here, I don't even think they got much of a turn. It seems like pretty good. That's our 5 battles for the day. On the faction wars, we have a few other ones in here that we'll be able to do really easily. Live arena as well that we have to do. I'll save that for later. Here's me hoping as well that the sound quality is okay. I did notice like a little bit of variation while I was testing, but overall it didn't seem as bad as before. With OBS, I tried to mess around my settings and levels a lot, but for some reason I could never like get that like perfect like optimal audio level that I had like at one point, because for some reason they got reset. I'm not too sure why it got reset. But maybe like I unplugged something at one point and it changed in, but I would assume that it would have saved it because I didn't have the app. As you can see, it didn't. So now I'm using the Xbox Game DVR recording. That's what we're going with for now. So I figure out a better solution or mess with it a bit more and get it sorted. We still have a few factions I want to push up to just autoing the second boss stage. Obviously this one isn't. It doesn't have too great of survivability. So like a lot of times they die to the waves or they die to the boss, one of the two. I don't have any awakening for a go, as you saw there. So struggles a bit to survive. He gets whittled down by the boss. And there's no other heals on that team as well. Which I would like to replace Tamagia. I haven't considered beating Tamagia because at some point back then I did throw a few random books on her. I can't even remember why. Maybe I did it for HP burn or something else to make it. And I threw a few random books, and obviously she's also 6-star, so I want to beat the champion at that point. Unless I like, if I could get my resources, like if I can get 5-star chickens and the books I use, I would not care about anything else on that champion, and I would probably feed it to my Marius instantly, just with extra stats. He's just that much better of a champion, honestly. He's one of those examples where he's a champion that you use in PvP and PvE, and it's been that way since he came out. That just goes to show how good he is. And he gets better and better, of course, as you get better gear in your account. I've seen many different ways that people build them. I've seen people build them with Slayer sets. I've seen people build them with Merciless. I've seen the new Mercurial set. People have been building it. Obviously, if you want to build them in Mercurial, you have to consider what relic you're using and also what awakening level you use. Because if you're giving up a defense ignore set, you have to, obviously you have other alternatives to make up for that missing damage. I think Hercules. I'm gonna, what? That's his name. I'm sticking with. I believe he may be missing gear. I removed his gear for something. I maybe didn't give him back. Yeah, I didn't give him his gear back, so it's not a bit there. Really disappointing champion, honestly. I feel like his champion should have been way better than what he was. He had like one interesting usage that was a little broken, but not like broken in the sense where it was game breaking broken, but that he was doing a crazy amounts of damage, and they like took that away from him and also changed like something else with him, I believe. And they he never like revisited this champion after that. So now he's just stuck as really a cosmetic Unity champion. Your only value is probably using him here, and you probably won't use him under some of the other better undead champions anyway. So that he immediately loses value again. I think in order to make this champion a bit more useful, they should give him something that isn't active only when he's dead. Even though that sounds cool and all, most of the time you want your champions alive, especially like in terms of completing like faction wars milestones. You would hope your champions are not falling over all the time. But unfortunately, that's part of the skit, and I guess that's just something they overlooked. For PvP, using Unity champions is really hard because it just doesn't always work. You have to have the right kit for them, really. Like for arena and tag team arena, it's a bit more viable. So since you're facing AI opponents, live arena, the Unity champion gets banned out, or the main champion, a part of the comp, gets banned out. Makes things a bit awkward, but people select the champions. All types of issues there. I think Unity champions really designed not for PvP, but for like the aesthetic there and lore and other areas. There's definitely like a few cases where you can use them, obviously, like where some of the Unity champions where you don't need a full, you don't need a full team for every single Unity champion to bring out the full potential. Only some Unity champions that'd be the case, which is kind of disappointing overall, but it's all good. You have Legos in this game that's better than some mythicals, so I guess we can't really be too disappointed, right? Another thing to note, I almost forgot to complete the Gear Hunters event last night, which really caught me off guard. I was busy gaming with a friend, and then I just happened to hop on the game, and I see like I had like an hour and 30 minutes left to finish the Gear Hunters event. So that's how I ended up completing the dungeon event turning. I just spent a lot of energy I had on that. Got that done. I did that because I wanted a few more pieces of pinpoint gear. Because it definitely does help having the pinpoint accessories, just to get like a little bit extra accuracy or a little bit extra speed, because I believe the secondary bonus with the pinpoint is 10%. I farmed stage 20 because it's just more effective. It's always been more effective for gear dungeons. So I stuck with that. Did that, so I just didn't have to use too much energy, because it does take a lot of energy to finish those dungeon events, especially for like a dungeon, because its milestone is a lot higher than it would be for like fusion fragments. Really, really good there. 2 6-star speed, normal speed glyphs, and a 6-star accuracy glyph. That's really nice. Right, last one here. Bannerlord should be a bit easier because the stage is earlier. Get something this gear. Sets. Your damage is actually a bit low. I don't have this upgraded. The right ascension. Need to really farm those dungeons, but those dungeons also take a lot of energy as well to farm. And you get very little chaos dust, and I can tell you that even though they released that option to convert the chaos dust, it is too expensive, and I will not use it once. I don't think there will ever be a time I'll use it, because it is just that inefficient. And it doesn't even compare to the conversions for like the other oils. Like when you're upgrading the other oils, like lesser to medium and the medium to final tier, like those are way more reasonable than converting the large ones to the chaos dust. I'm not too sure why they went over the top of that. I mean, the people who are going to benefit obviously are the people who can spend that amount of energy to keep farming it. Has a ton of silver just sitting around. It won't even. Those players, it won't even matter. And they probably figured that while they were deciding it as well. So that keeps debuffing us, unfortunately. Get a reset here, though. She already used her cleanse, so we shouldn't worry about that. We're just hoping we can one-shot him. Should just use the nuke there, but it's fine. We can go ahead and use it here. It's cleansing everything already. So it's still try to nuke through it. Yeah. She's gonna revive one of them, but it's okay. I think we're gonna heal here. So it's that. I'm gonna use our cleanse as well here. So I wanted her to. Oh, wait, we actually got a turn before she did because of the increased speed. Nice. Should be able to whittle her down here before she gets another turn. Yeah, there we go. Keep Mikey. So wave should be a lot easier. Assist, so he can debuff here. State 3. State 2. You can go in and accept the nuke. Nice. Even if she needs to revive, it's fine. Gonna be able to strip all their buffs. Australia here. So Mikey. Slow down. Here we go. All the easy stuff. We got just, the easy missions left. We'll be able to get done after the video. And then, speaking of things I wanted to wrap up this video, before I mentioned that I completed the mini dungeon tournament, got the last milestone. Went slightly over just because I was making sure I got that Gary Hunter's done. And in terms of points for the champion chase, we're at 4.6k right now. And I believe I will try to grab these fragments real quick here in this video. So, got your attention. Let's just do a few more summons. Get lucky. Probably won't, but hopefully we can get some epics going at least so we can get that 5.5k points we need. Got epic there. Let's keep going. Epics. There we go. We only need around 500 more, or maybe less, like 100, 400, 500, in between there. Right, I believe that should be enough, or we should be very close. One of the two. We got it. Oh wait, we actually went a bit over. We didn't need to do that last 10. It's calculated there, unfortunately, but it's whatever. More food to send on their way. Let's go ahead and craft this to wrap things up. Another wand. Thank you, Harry Potter. But I'm going to wrap this video up here, try to get this uploaded tonight. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I hope if you decided to do summons or you already did summon that it went well. If not, I hope things get better next time.